Okay, welcome everybody. I have to say a few things. I am subject to say anything at any given time, go off on tangents that you wouldn't even believe. Well, y'all said some very beautiful things, very eloquent. I'm
Oh
not.
man, here it
I'm not
comes.
that eloquent as you guys. I'll simply say that a lot of issues are happening because of lack of fathers and homes. A loss, a lack of a positive. But you actually touched on that already. You touched on that
Yeah.
about positive male role models in families. Reason why I really put emphasis on that during the last couple of years, especially since the '90s, to my knowledge, um, under this new wave of feminism. The reason why I brought that level of feminism because there's a differentiation between what feminism was and what it became.
Yeah.
And the reason why I mentioned it is because there's such a push for women, but there's there's lack of push or any incentive for men. Like you got young boys coming up, and that demographic is constantly falling behind because they feel like, well, everything's focused towards women. School is focused towards women. Everything, education is focused towards women over boys. And say, well, and then you can see that in the numbers. There's less boys, men are being enrolled in colleges. Less of them are completing their degrees.
Okay. So,
I mean, when I say less, the numbers are going down
well,
as the number
no,
of women
go ahead. Go ahead.
as the number of women increase. There's also I believe there's a decline of how many men. Of course, not saying that it's like, oh, there's no men out there going to get education. I'm not saying it like that.
Well,
I'm
men
saying,
have shifted. They have shifted to trade skills. It
and
is not
I was going to bring, I was going to take that to account as well,
okay.
uh, because that's like I said, there's always more pieces to the puzzle than just one piece, two piece. There's always other factors. I was
Hmm.
saying that just one thing, and I said there are trade because as time goes on, that's another thing. As I don't want to go into a tangent about that
Too
because
late.
that's a whole
Too late.
because you're talking about okay, what's important? Like not everybody is for college. Some boys, some men, growing up, they don't have skills or that are for college. It would be best to focus. I think education has to be redone. So in general, like for instead of this blanket system that we have now, which I found out the Board of Education came in under Jimmy Carter. Um, that actually, I feel like that's a problem. I start to look at education going back, like not college, this regular general education, how things were taught. It's different. Yes, the skills that you would to teach a child, you should try to broaden their horizons. You should try to instead of trying to make kids fit a test, you should try to schools should be places where you can find the was it aptitude.
Well,
Um,
that's the thing. Education has been revamped since it was established. That's the
mhm.
problem.
hmm
So,
hmm
to of course, to our teachers, phenomenal job with the unfortunate issue of having to raise someone else's child. Essentially,
And
it's,
that's
it's
and
a
I
big
that's one thing I just very much dislike is that parents have given to teachers their jobs. Like parents are seceded so much, not all, of course. There's many parents, depending on where they're coming from. They let TV raise them. They let
Right.
someone else raise their kids. Who they have no idea. They have no clue of what this
Mhm.
person's beliefs are, their foundations, understandings. So I believe now in our current society with COVID and with this homeschool, I think it pulled the wool off for so much is because now we can see. parents were for the first time in a long time going like, wait a minute, what are my kids learning?